Welcome to the deep dive. Today we are strapping in for what is probably the biggest news coming out of the light novel world right now.
Oh, absolutely.
The official anime adaptation announcement for Toko Amekawa's series. We're doing a full deep dive on Reincarnated in a Mafia Dating Sim.
What a title.
I know, right? That title alone is a masterclass in mashing up genres. You've got high-stakes crime drama, you have that whole isekai romance game structure.
It's got everything.
It really does. Okay, let's unpack this. We've got all the sources lined up, the publishing numbers, the story details, the fan reactions, to really understand not just that it's getting an anime, but why this thing became such an unstoppable hit.
It really is a textbook case, a total success story. The confirmation came from TO Books, and the buzz online was just palpable. You can feel it.
Yeah.
And when you look at how the series got here, that excitement makes perfect sense. This isn't just another light novel getting an adaptation. This is a phenomenon hitting its next big milestone.
Precisely. And I think we need to start there with the origins and, the numbers, because they tell you so much about what makes a hit today. Where did this all begin?
So like a lot of the huge hits we're seeing lately, it didn't start in the bookstore. It actually started online.
Okay.
It first debuted on the user-generated fiction site Shosutsuki ni Naro back in 2022.
Ah, the Naro platform.
Exactly. And you have to understand, Naro is this massive, a proving ground for new stories. It lets authors test out concepts, build a fan base organically, and even tweak the story based on reader feedback before a publisher ever even looks at it.
So it's not just a website, it's basically the ultimate market-driven test kitchen.
That's a perfect way to put it.
And clearly this one passed the test. I mean, going from an online serial to a physical light novel with TO Books, that's a huge jump.
A massive leap. And the success just kept building from there. When you look at the metric that really drives an anime decision, you have to talk about sales.
Right.
The series has sold a staggering 350,000 copies, and that's across both print and digital formats.
350,000 copies in, about 2 years, all starting from a free-to-read website.
Yep.
That is a colossal number. It just shows that the readership is huge, they're committed, and they will follow this story anywhere. You can't ignore a signal like that if you're on a production committee.
No, you can't. It also speaks to the strength of the visuals. And on that topic, it's actually worth noting that the art style for the novels evolved a bit.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, the early volumes, the ones that really established the world's look and feel, they had illustrations by Meiji Yano.
And then there was a change, right?
There was.
Yeah.
Starting in 2023, the illustration duties were passed over to LINO for the newer volumes.
Why do you think that's important?
Well, it shows the publisher was adapting as the series grew, keeping the visual presentation fresh and consistent to match the momentum. The art isn't just a cover, it's really part of the experience for readers.
Okay, let's pivot then. Because the sales are just the result of a killer idea. Here's where it gets really interesting. We have to talk about the narrative hook that got all those readers hooked in the first place.
This is the best part. The series is centered on our protagonist, Francesca Calvino. And right from the jump, she is just incredibly competent.
Because of her past life.
Exactly. Her past life wasn't, some boring office job. She was the granddaughter of a truly formidable Yakuza boss. She didn't just know about the criminal underworld. She grew up in it. She understood the rules, the stakes, all of it.
So when she gets reincarnated, the classic isekai setup, she's not dropped into some gentle fantasy kingdom.
Not even close.
She lands in the world of a dating sim she actually remembers, but it's one that's set in this fantastical realm, completely run by crime lords and all this political maneuvering. This is definitely not the usual, let's bake some cookies for the handsome duke kind of plot.
Absolutely not. And her Yakuza background is her superpower, basically. Her main goal in this new life isn't power or even romance. It's burnout. Yeah, she just wants a simple, quiet life. Her entire goal is to use what she knows about crime organizations and the game's plot to finally escape the underworld for good.
That is such a great subversion of the genre. Normally the goal is to win the dating sim, to get the guy, seize the throne.
Right.
But Francesca's goal is to, intentionally lose. To just get off the board completely. What does she know that makes her so desperate to get out?
She knows the game is really a high-stakes political battlefield. She knows the family hierarchies, where the key events happen, and most importantly, she knows that all the main romance paths are just traps that lead to destruction. She sees it all as a minefield.
But every great story needs a great obstacle. If she's trying so hard to escape her fate, she must have to avoid the most dangerous piece on the board. Who's the central conflict here?
And that would be Leonardo Aldini.
Okay.
He's the head of the powerful Aldini family. He's described as charming, but also just completely devious. He's the game's primary antagonist, the final boss, if you will.
The ultimate challenge. So the tension comes from her trying to break whatever connection the game forces her to have with him, like an arranged marriage or something.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
She spends all her time trying to secure a peaceful life, which mostly means trying to break off their impending engagement. But her attempts don't just fail.
They backfire.
They backfire spectacularly. Because Leonardo, this brilliant antagonist, doesn't see her attempts to run as an insult. He sees it as a fun new challenge.
That's fascinating. So instead of being pushed away by her rejection, he's actually drawn in by it.
That's the twist. That's what hooks everyone. Leonardo Aldini has other ideas, and the story shifts from her trying to avoid him to him relentlessly chasing her. The source material really emphasizes that he loves it. He revels in the pursuit.
He finds her strategic mind entertaining.
Exactly. He's not just chasing a fiancé he's supposed to marry. He's chasing the one person in his entire world who is smart enough to actually try and defy him.
So she has all this knowledge to escape destiny, but destiny, in the form of this handsome, powerful crime boss, thinks her escape plan is cute and just. Doubles down.
It completely flips the power dynamic. The antagonist is delighted by the heroine's competence.
And that tension is what's driving hundreds of thousands of sales. The whole question becomes, how do you outplay someone who owns the game board and finds your resistance more interesting than your surrender?
It turns it from a simple romance into this complex battle of wits. The stakes are literally life and death.
Which provides, endless fuel for more story, which naturally leads to it expanding beyond just the light novels. Let's talk about the manga.
Right. The synergy there has been so important for building the brand. The manga adaptation is illustrated by Sora Goto, and it kicked off back in January of 2023.
And that's a pretty common strategy, right? The manga gives you faster visual hits.
It does. It helps solidify what the characters look like, what the action feels like, for a much broader audience who might not pick up a novel.
And it's still going strong in Japan.
Oh yeah, it's moving fast. The 5th volume of the manga is already set to be released in Japan on December 1st. That shows there's this constant demand, a steady stream of content that's keeping the fandom fed and excited for the anime.
And all that content production is great, but it has to reach the international fans too. They're a huge part of why an anime gets greenlit in the first place. For someone listening to this deep dive right now, how easy is it to jump into this world?
It's super accessible, and that's thanks to some really smart localization work.
Okay.
Tokyopop is handling the English translations, and the sources say they are just steamrolling ahead with releases for both the novels and the manga. They are not making global fans wait.
And that's critical pre-anime strategy.
It's essential. You need to have the books on shelves, both physical and digital, so that when the anime drops, you have this built-in international community ready to go.
Right, because easy access to the source material translates directly into more hype and higher engagement when the show finally airs.
It creates this global fan base that's already invested. They know the characters, they're waiting for the big plot twists. It basically guarantees a strong opening for the anime. It's a perfect feedback loop.
Yeah.
The novel has the idea, the manga gives it visuals, and the publisher primes the global audience.
So after all that work, all those sales, the anime announcement must have just felt like a huge victory for the creative team. What were the reactions like from the author and illustrator?
It was really, it was a beautiful moment of them giving all the credit back to the fans.
Oh.
The original author, Toko Amekawa, went on what used to be Twitter almost right away. She posted this really heartfelt message saying the anime had, quote, come to fruition thanks to every one of you.
Wow, that's amazing. It really reinforces that this whole thing was driven by genuine grassroots fan love.
It does. And the illustrator, LINO, who is defining the look of this series now, she also joined in.
What did she do?
She shared these, the sources called them delightful illustrations that just captured the essence of Francesca and her wild adventures. So it wasn't just some corporate press release. It felt like a real shared celebration.
We've tracked this from a debut on an online site in 2022 through this huge success in print and manga, all the way to a major anime deal. And the analysis really shows a story that succeeds by twisting expectations. It injects this high-level strategy and criminal knowledge into a genre that's usually much more lighthearted.
It's the perfect fusion, you know?
Yeah.
You have Francesca's Yakuza smarts clashing with this romantic chaos. You have a heroine who is almost too capable, fighting a fate embodied by a man who was actively entertained by her trying to run away.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener, and for the future of this series?
It means we're looking at an anime that promises to be full of real tension and just brilliant character dynamics, not just the same old tropes. This is a story that found a way to make its protagonist's strategic mind the central selling point. Francesca isn't just fighting a dating sim. She's fighting a brilliant, charming opponent who refuses to let her win by quitting.
Yeah.
And that dynamic, it really leads us to one last thought for you to consider. The whole story is built on the idea that you have prior knowledge to escape a dangerous life. But what good is that knowledge if the main antagonist of that life, Leonardo Aldini, is the one person who refuses to let you go? If he sees your escape plan as a captivating game, does that just make things worse? Is escaping destiny even harder when destiny is actively, intelligently chasing you?
That is the dilemma right there. If you're intrigued by a high-stakes battle of wills where the heroine is on the run from the world's most charming and persistent crime boss, now is your chance. Whether you go for the novels or the manga, catch up on Reincarnated in a Mafia Dating Sim before that anime takes over the entire conversation. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.